broadcast on the planet. Welcome to True Grit. I'm your host, Shane Davis, former IMCA Modified National Champion, and my sidekick, Pat Moore, run a couple of years on the World Outlaw Sprint Car Circuit. Pat, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Shane. Glad to be here. Looking forward to another great show.
We had a lot of rain over the weekend. A lot of shows rained out.
You know what? It was kind of a weird weekend with the gas shortage down south. A couple of the late model programs got nixed, and then the rain actually curtailed some of the racing up here.
Okay. Well, then you and I went over to Davenport Speedway for the Lucas Oil MLRA show, and hey, we had some great racing out there on a rubber down racetrack.
Yep, without a doubt. And with those cancellations, allowed some of the heavy hitters to come up north and run up here. I know down in central Illinois, some of the heavy hitters ran down there, and then we had a couple of the big guns that came and ran with us on Friday night at Davenport.
We had Ricky Thornton Jr. roll into the track, and man, he had lost last year in the World Outlaw show at Davenport by 1/1000th of a second. But, he got a little retribution this week, ends up picking off the big win.
Yep, that was a great show. And I tell you what, he was on a rail. And I was just looking over the weekend, and I think Ricky is in the top 4 in Lucas Oil points. So it was great to have him here, and they put on a phenomenal show.
Now, Pat, when I used to run on a rubber down racetrack, didn't have it a lot back when we were on the modified tour. I could smell the rubber in the car, but I guess I didn't realize that up in the broadcast booth we could smell it Friday night. I had fans text me, said they could smell it. Now, when you were running sprints on a rubber down track, you could smell it.
Yeah, that was one of the first ways that you're able to smell it in a sprint car. We're able to tell where they do lay rubber. And with the sprint cars, we have a little bit softer tires and spin them a little bit faster at times. And so it can be patchy, but that's one of the first indicators that there is rubber being laid down, is you can smell it. And I know you and I were talking about it Friday night for that show. But even despite the fact that it was kind of rubber down, it still was a heck of a show.
It was.
Yeah.
Great show all around, and we got some cool racing coming up next weekend, Friday night at Davenport. We're going to have your guys in town, some open wheels.
That's right. Badger Midgets, first time since 1997. The heavy hitters from Wisconsin, Illinois, and then Mike Raymond's car from here in town is actually won the opening race with Badger. They're on a tear. They're going to be there without a doubt. And so first time since 1997 that the midgets are going to run at Davenport on the quarter. I tell you what, I can't wait.
You can check all that out at www.bmara.com. And with that being said, we got to pay the bills, Pat. We got a sponsor tonight?
Yes, we do. All right. Done Right TV and Security Solutions, providing the best technology and award-winning service. When it comes to the safety and security of your home or business, you want it done right. Give Kelly a call at 563-355-7490, donerighttv.com/security. They have Ring video doorbells, Go Control smart garage doors, which are really cool, and also smart security lighting. Done Right TV and Security Solutions, 563-355-7490. Give them a call there. When it comes to doing it right, you want it done right, especially when it comes to security.
You can check them out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And hey, I have really been looking forward to this show all week. We got a very special guest with us tonight.
Yes, we do.
And we got Spencer Diercks. Now, Spencer, I call you Superman, but your shirts, I'm wearing one of your shirts, has, Double Trouble? What are we going to go by, Spence?
That's
Double
right.
Trouble?
Sure.
Or whatever I want to call you.
Whatever you want to call
All
it.
right.
Yes. Welcome to the show,
that.
Spencer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, let's roll the clock back and kind of fill in a couple of gaps. You come from a long line of racing people in your family. Tell us, Dennis Diercks, we remember, used to run open wheel modified. His brother ran open wheel modified. They love Ford cars. I do remember that. And Al, the chiropractor, he ran NX Legend cars. Tell us a little bit about where your love for racing came from.
A lot of it came from, from my dad and my brother, but just being around it. I guess I just, they always used to tell me stories that when my dad and my mom would take me to the Davenport Fairgrounds, I always loved the dirt late models more than the asphalt stuff, just because I don't know why, I don't remember, but
You're a dirt guy, man.
Yeah, exactly. But
All right.
yeah, I've just been around it my whole life, so it was kind of in my blood. But
Very cool.
Now, your dad, Steve, he never raced.
no, he did. He raced.
Okay.
He raced asphalt late models. He was pretty good. He was coming up with business and stuff like that, so he never really had the opportunity. And then he was diagnosed with diabetes or whatever, so that was a hard deal for him. But yeah, I think he loves watching and being a part of it and running, doing his thing that way rather than being in the car or whatever, because he's so good at it with when he was with my brother, get my brother to the next level, and then obviously with me getting whatever we need or whatever, to make us go fast. So
Now, Justin, he drove the number 29 car.
Yep.
And, he was a very talented driver himself. What's Justin doing these days?
So he owns Diercks Limited, which is my dad's, it was my dad's business or whatever, but now it's my brother's and my sister-in-law, Kelly. But they do the concrete foundations, whatever, for new residential homes or commercial stuff here in the Quad Cities. So yeah, and then taking care of his 3 monsters.
Yeah.
He got 3 beautiful kids. So
my God, that's great.
He's got his hands full because they're full of energy. So.
Yeah, they are. So the Lawns Unlimited business belongs to?
That's my uncle, and then my cousin Brett and my aunt Cindy. But yeah, that's them.
And I remember driving through McCausland one day. It was kind of funny. Jeff Morris, I was telling him I wanted to buy a jukebox. And he said, well, hey, I know where there's a jukebox for sale. Your grandma and grandpa, they used to be in the trucking business. Yep. They had an old, I still got the jukebox. He said, well, one of the Dierckses got that. And he says, they started the whole business ordeal in the Diercks family. We went over there. Those people were so nice that, by the time I walked out the door, they didn't want me to pay them for it. They were just wanted to get it out of the house and got that thing home. And I got to tell you, to this day, it's still working. And I got a little 5-year-old granddaughter that, loves listening to that stuff. So thanks to Grandma and Grandpa. And they're still living out in McCausland.
No, my grandpa actually passed away a couple years back, but my grandma is living in Long Grove with my aunt.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
So Justin, Spencer, Justin, here, I thought I was talking to your brother for a minute. So Spence, I told you I've watched thousands of drivers through the years, drive on dirt, asphalt, all that stuff. I was around a lot of them. I toured, on the national circuit, but I can tell you, this takes nothing away from anybody in your family. But you have been given a gift from God. You have got that God-given talent, and you are just a blast to watch on the racetrack. So when Pat and I were talking about that restart in the modified Friday night, that was just hammer down, take her to the high side. Classic Spencer Diercks.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know, I love it. I just anything I can do to get better or whatever, and just and to make my team, better and to be out there to take it to the next level. It's kind of I want to do it. So it's just I don't know, I love it. So I want to be the best I possibly can be. So
that's good.
Well, I think one of the really impressive things too, Shane, is to take that to the next level. Is that not only are you top quality in the modifieds, but you guys also have a full super late model program as well. And it's not an afterthought. It's not a back of the pack. You guys are absolutely extremely competitive no matter where you go, against no matter whom you're running against. So
yeah, we've struggled. We've struggled for years or whatever, but we're finally we're putting something together here. We've got our scars, and we've been through our battles. So 2 weeks ago we went up north, and got our butts whooped up there, but we came down here Friday and ran pretty good. So,
but that was against the World of Outlaws in Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
So, and if I remember right, the week before that, you ran in the Hawkeye 100,
yes,
and had an outstanding show. Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us about your run at the Hawkeye 100.
So prior to that, we made a bunch of changes on the car. from help from CDR and Ryder and Donnie or whatever. They're down in Louisiana, but we had a bunch of help from them, just giving us some tips and stuff like that. Just placement of stuff and getting everything. I mean, just a bunch of confidence stuff basically. And went up there and they helped us out through some things and had a good run on the first feature. And then the second feature, they reline you up or whatever, and we were able to, once you start up there, it gives you it makes you nervous, but you get a big confidence boost to who you're running with. And we were third there for a while, but my tire, it took rubber a little bit, and my tire was gone. So I was ended up on fourth.
Yeah,
right.
And Spence up at Boone, how do you like that track?
I've only been there twice, so that was my second time, but it's awesome. But it's wild. So it's a different atmosphere. It's a different dirt. Even though it's only a couple hours away, it was different.
It's different.
Absolutely.
And it looks like black farm dirt. I mean, you can run right down there on the tires and pound it in.
Absolutely.
And it's a very wide racetrack, or you can run way out there on the cushion. So, and for you to work your way up to fourth place. I mean, here we give you a rundown. Shannon Babb picks up the win. Heckenast was second. Tyler Bruning third. And then Spencer Diercks.
Yeah.
Man, that's a hell of a run.
And especially since it's a family-owned team, so you guys don't have. And I know the Diercks. I've known Spencer. Actually, Spencer backstory. I've known Spencer his whole life. He grew up with my older son Duncan, and so I've known Spencer since he was in preschool.
Yep.
So I've seen him come up through the ranks, and he's got a phenomenal family. You have a great family behind you, but to see a family-owned operation like that run in the top 5 against the World of Outlaws is impressive. It's very impressive.
Appreciate it.
Best of the best.
Absolutely.
Man, what a show.
Absolutely.
So, Spence, you're 24 years old.
Yes.
My God, you got 24, and look what you've accomplished so far. It's just amazing. It's just kind of a testament to your whole family and their dedication. So you're modified. Let's talk about that. That's a Rage race car. Okay. And is that a Rage by Precision?
Yes. So that's that's my first modified I've ever owned or whatever. I drove a modified for Nate Hall and Mike Wells or whatever last year just to get my feet wet. They wanted wanted somebody to step in, so we had a little bit of a hiatus in between with the late model stuff, and so I was like, I'll come and drive, and I absolutely loved it. And next thing you know, we got one over the off season, and that was the first modified that we've ever had. So I went with Andy just because I didn't know anything about it modified. Nobody on my team does, so we had to go with some people that we could trust to get us in the right direction right away. A good box to start off with, and it's been good so far.
Yep. So. And man, when you look at the Eckrich family and the success they've had over the years, they're just top notch, and they've got the chassis figured out, they've got shock packages figured out, and you tell them, hey, I'm going to run here on Friday, they're on Saturday, and they can tell you what direction to go.
Absolutely.
So talk about your approach. So we're talking about modified. So Friday night, you run the modified at Davenport. You ran. And actually, unfortunately, the track took rubber. But tell us about the Friday night show.
It took rubber, but it was still it took rubber. It wasn't the greatest, but we made the best of it. We were up there. We timed in really well, which was kind of coming into that night was a big plus because I haven't been timing in very well. You can't start third row with them guys.
Sure.
And start 16th. Other than Alverson, who moved up to the field, but he's just a special kind, But other than him, there wasn't a lot of passing, So you got to be able to start up there. You got to be able to save your equipment. Even in a 30-lap race, obviously I blew a tire, so I didn't save enough. But you got to be up there right away. Right, you got to unload good.
Without a doubt.
Now, I'm looking at Scott Fusel. He just made a comment here. He said, young man is a wheel, man. Thanks for choosing Rage Chassis Spence.
There you go.
So, man, those things.
Talking about the modified, and another one of the things that I appreciate about you is that you could have left the modified at home Friday night.
Right.
Because it was not a point show. Is that correct? Or was it a point show?
No.
Not a
Okay,
boat show.
so, and that's what I've noticed is a lot of the guys would have just brought the late model, run the late model, not worried about the modified, but you're there with both.
Yeah.
I think you were the only guy with both.
Yeah.
So not only did you run fourth in the modified, but then you had to jump out of that right into the late model, and they actually held up the start of the late model program to give you time. I'll tell you what, Shane, I was tired for him, and I think I actually said to Shane, I said, you can tell he's young, because I'd be like, no.
Hey, Dad, load the late model up. We're just gonna call it
no.
a night.
So tell us about your approach. How's your approach different jumping into the late model versus jumping out of the modified?
Modified, you just have to be cautious when you go. I've learned that because last year I ran a late model show, and then I went out there with the late modified, driving it just like it. You know what I mean? And you can't do that. It's, even though they are similar, the race car is a race car, but it's different. You're on a smaller tire, a lot less motor. You know what I mean? Everything just happens a lot slower, so you can't go in there and just whip it around. Whereas that late model, you're just aggressive. If you don't get out there and act like somebody just beat you up or whatever, you might as well just keep it on the trailer, because you're not going to run good. So
Spence, I've always said you look like you're out there driving with your hairs on fire. You know? I mean, you're aggressive and you're fun to watch.
Right.
And I'd say, I like watching Bobby Pierce. I like watching Spence. You're hammered down. We're taking her to the front. But now in that modified, you got 604 crate in that thing. Yep. You're on a 10-inch tire. And when you jumped out of that modified and got in that late model, so even though you're typically more aggressive in the late model, lap number one, since you just run all those laps in that mod, were you a little cautious heading into the first turn just to kind of feel it out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was cautious. I was just more kind of trying to figure out where I was at. But no, I was ready to go, honestly. I knew I have some confidence in that car now. So I kind of know what it's going to do. I ran enough laps to, that was the thing. In the heat race, my dad always tells me, I excel in longer races. The longer the race runs, the better I get, because I get more comfortable. You know what I mean? I start to feel the race car. You know what I mean? So the more laps I get, in a stab port. So I kind of know where to go. You know what I mean? But
all right.
Home field advantage.
Yeah, that's right. So we talked a little bit about this, but, it would have been May 8th, Mississippi Thunder at Fountain City, Wisconsin. You made the show. It was a World Outlaw show. You had an 18th on night number one, a 15th night two. I mean, I'm impressed with that, because
without a doubt,
you made the show. World Outlaws, dude. You got the best of the best running there. And yet, 24-year-old Spencer Diercks put her in a big dance.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was a lot of tough guys that went home, and it was a big confidence booster. Even though it says 18th and 15th, it's not that. It's like you said, it's making the show. You're cutting your teeth in a place I've never been.
Right.
And you're getting your battle wounds. And then when you come back home, you're ready, because this is your home turf. You know what I mean? So
you got to defend it.
Exactly. So it's a big confidence booster.
So how do you prepare for a place that you've never been to before with the late model?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because in most late model shows, you only get a couple hot laps, meaning you get 3 laps around the track, and then you got to go out there and set the world on fire for qualifying. So it's hard. It really is. You get out there, and you kind of just got to wing it. Honestly, it sounds stupid, but you just got to go in as hard as you possibly can, no matter what. So, and if you don't, it's going to cost you. You're going to end up in the 3rd or 4th row of qualifying heat, and that's not where you want to be. So
Spence out there in time trials Friday night. It was amazing, because the track was getting blown off early, and you weren't the first car out there.
Right.
So by the time you got out there, they'd burn up a lot of the top side of the racetrack. But man, 1 and 2, you were able to get right up there on the cushion, and just because you're familiar with the racetrack,
absolutely,
you came off like a bullet, and your time, you were fast.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the track was getting partially used up. And tell the fans a little bit about something. When you go to a track you've never been to before, nobody's going to walk up and say, hey, Spence, you want to pull this gear, you want to do this, make sure you got this shock package on. Nobody's talking. No. They ain't telling you nothing. You're a young kid. They want you to, earn respect.
Absolutely.
And so, man, thank God you got a guy like your dad around, and a crew they are pretty good guessers.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to build enough. I think I have a good enough relationship with some people or whatever to ask them some information like that. But otherwise, no, you're not going to walk up to a certain someone, and ask them information on anything like that. Because the thing is you're racing for money, and most of these guys, they race for a living.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's like walking in, their locker room. You're not going to walk in their locker room and take what they got, because if you do, you're probably something's going to happen to you.
Sure.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly's seen the picture of that tire you ran Friday night when you got the flag. You're running fourth. I think, man, Spence, you're going to have a good run tonight. And you, like many people, man, that right rear gave up on you. When you pulled down the pit area and they pulled that right rear off, I looked at it, and I could see cords on that right rear.
Yeah. And
I said, oh, my God, that thing, it's beyond used.
Oh, yeah. It was paper thin when I pulled it off the rim here a little bit ago. So.
Here Kelly, he wanted to get an autograph and hang it up in the studio.
I think we still should do that.
Yep, I'll bring it in.
You got to bring it by one of these days. That was funny. But, you, like many others, had flats. And, I felt sorry for the late model and mod guys both, because, the right side tires had to been. I mean, what did it do to your right front on the mod?
On the mod, it just feathered it really bad. So,
okay.
But even with that, even when you feather it that bad, you're not going to get your edge back. So it's junk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're junk.
It's just or if you get it that hot, them tires aren't. You get something that hot, it takes all the chemicals out of it or whatever. You know what I mean? It ruins it.
And you give that one to Jeff Morris. So put it on
hey, I got a tire for you. Yeah. And they say, is it sealed over? Oh, no. I'd put this on your right rear if I were you.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the issues that we always have with the sprint cars is going through a heat cycle. And I've seen some of the other classes that can heat cycle tires, and they still perform. They may not fire right away, but I know with the sprint car, depending upon the compound of the tire, there are times when you can seal a tire over, and it's almost like heat treating the outside where it won't come back through. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. When I look at the schedule, back on April 4th, at Davenport Speedway, you got the heat and the feature win. In your modified, you came back April 16th, and I think you got the feature win in the modified, but Lucas Oil, you may have missed that by one spot, getting in the feature.
Yeah, I missed it by one.
Yeah, it happens. And then, April 24th at Davenport, you had a first place run. So I was looking forward to Saturday night going up to West Liberty, getting on that big half mile and seeing, how the guys could get her done up there, because you've got a lot of experience up there too, Spence. But unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't cooperate.
Maybe it did, I guess. It saved a bunch of tires. Right?
Saved a bunch of tires. Exactly. There you go.
Seriously.
Exactly. And actually, if I can for a second, I'll tell you what. My very first World of Outlaw late model race was Dubuque, and I went and looked it up. Dubuque, 2018. Wow. Very first time I ever went to and keep in mind that I spent most of my time, and Spencer knows where I'm going with this. I spent most of my time chasing sprint cars, and so I like them, and I have a huge appreciation for late models and that level of cars, but I've never taken the time to actually go watch one. And so we had a Saturday night off, and I took my son Griffin, and I said, you know what? I think the World of Outlaws are running up at Dubuque. We ate dinner. We jumped in the car, ran up there. An hour later, we're there. I'll give you two guys one guess as to who set fast time for the World of Outlaws show that night.
Fill me in.
He's at this table. I'm pretty sure. Is that right?
It wasn't me.
Yep.
Pat Moore did.
No, actually, Spencer set fast time.
Spencer set fast time.
That's awesome.
Yep.
God, that is awesome,
is that right?
man.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that?
It was something, because I was obviously, he's still young, but it was, I didn't have that much experience with them guys. So coming out, and I don't have a whole lot of experience at Dubuque anyways, but so it was pretty cool.
It was impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was impressive. And it was Mike Marlar, Shep, all of those guys. Marlar ended up going on and winning the championship that year. So there were a lot of heavy hitters at that show. So I remember that, and
I forgot about that.
Hey, Spencer. I wrote that down. I gotta mention that. It's very cool.
Tell me about, I sent you a text. And I want to get a little information on your bio, and you sent me a text back. I said, married or single? I'm thinking it's coming back single. And you put down, girlfriend Jessie might as well be married.
Yeah.
All right.
I know I'll get home and
We going to be going to a wedding
kick
soon?
my
Or?
butt if I don't say that.
Yeah.
You need any groomsmen? Pat and I will.
That's
go
right.
for
That's
you.
right.
No problem at all.
That's right.
So you say you've been racing since 2012. When you started out, what were you driving, Spence?
I had 1 or 2 times in a legend car up at just practice rounds, and then my dad threw me right in a late model.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's impressive.
Threw
Death
me
by
in-
fire,
Yeah, threw me in the end of 2011, and then just to practice or whatever around
Sure.
Tipton and stuff like that. We got a bunch of practice in, and then 2012 he started me in the back and threw me
Nice.
out there, and boom.
So here we go.
Yep, here we go.
Man, that's something else.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So, hey, talking about your sponsors you get on that race car, I know one of them is, Scott Relk,
yeah.
Relk Concrete Construction, and he is a big fan. I kind of laugh because I think, first and second night at Davenport Speedway this year was ice cold, and I have got 4 layers of clothing on, and, my hands are so cold, I can't even feel the mic. And Scott Relk said, hey, Shane, you need another shirt? And I say, I'll take a shirt. And he said, I'll be right back. And he ran over to your trailer and got me a 3X hoodie, come back and gave it to me. And, man, that kind of got me through the night. But Scotty, the point being, he loves dirt track racing. And, it's always good to have sponsors like that. And, he loves your car. I mean, when we're in the winter months, we're out there racing our little slot cars, that's all Scotty Relk talks
That's
about.
right.
Is
Yep,
Spencer
that's right.
Diercks, so good to have people like that. Other sponsors you got, Pleasant Valley Ready Mix. You're in the concrete business, so that probably helps out a little bit.
Yes, it does.
Rockstar Energy Drink. Do you drink that stuff?
No.
Okay.
I do not, but it's the Pepsi, Bill Johnson. He's the Pepsi distributor. So we had Pepsi and Mountain Dew on there years before or whatever, but we just thought we wanted to do something different. And Stefan, Cam Concepts or whatever, he came up with that cool logo for
It is very cool.
Man, it is
and put
cool.
it on there, and we've had it there
Well,
since.
if you don't drink it, and I know he doesn't drink
I
it.
can't drink it.
I call dibs.
Yeah. Pat, you're on it.
That's right. I got a couple of cans out in the truck.
Right, I know that. I stopped in one time. There's a little place called Awake Coffee Company over in Rock Island. I zipped in there in the morning, and I'm looking up there at those drinks, and hey, I'm old school, so I seen one that was I think it was called Purple Passion or Purple Rain, and I got it. Well, I didn't know those things had energy drink in them, and I don't need any energy drink. And so, I started drinking that stuff, and man, this is great. I don't know what they got in this stuff, but I feel alive.
That's right.
And then,
That's right.
I thought, these, it's got energy drink in there, and I'm not supposed to drink that stuff. So all those hard years of racing, I've got heart disease, so it gets my heart all revved up. And the doc says, stay away from that stuff. But it's good. Hey, Lindquist Ford. You guys have always been a Ford family.
Absolutely.
So it had to be Fords. There wasn't going to be Bob Erickson Chevy on that thing. It's
Nope.
Lindquist Ford, okay. Circle Tap and Maloney's Pub. Where are they at, Spence?
So Circle Tap is
right down the
right
street.
down the road.
Across the
Now, they got
But,
the good ribs, right?
Yep, they got the
right.
good ribs.
Oh,
At least
man.
circle.
And Maloney's is in Eldridge.
They don't
There it
give you
is.
free ribs for the sponsor, do they?
No.
I thought I could get a ticket from you for Pat and I. T&G Refurbishing.
That's Greg McKnight. That's
right. I know
Nate
Greg.
Buseling's stepdad. But yeah, Nate wasn't racing anymore, so he
Wants to stay involved.
Exactly, wanted to stay involved, and we've always liked Nate and his dad or whatever, so we put him on there, and he's always been a supporter of us from the beginning. So
American Topsoil. And what do we got? Rocks Platinum Construction.
Yep.
And then Tegler Wreck and Crane. Now, Buddha Transmissions. Tell me about that.
Buddha, he's a good friend. Just helps us out with transmissions and stuff
Yeah,
like
ain't
that.
nothing wrong with
He's a
that.
good guy.
And then H&H Towing.
Yep.
Wow. You got a lot of good sponsors on there. And I know, back when we
Necessity.
raced, Pat, it takes a lot of money to make the world go around.
Yes, it does. Yes,
And
it does.
so we needed all the sponsorship help we could get.
Yep, without a doubt. So Spencer, other than sponsors, tell us about the team. Who's the driving force and the manpower behind the 2-car operation?
Obviously my parents. I couldn't do it without them. It's a family deal. They supply, the money behind the operation or whatever. My mom, my dad, Lisa, my dad, Steve, and then my brother Justin. He's always a big supporter, even though he's got 3 wild kids. He comes whenever he can because they got a lot of baseball and soccer, and they're very talented. So they got hopefully they got a bright career to get us all out of it or something.
Help pay for their college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's outstanding.
And then lost my headphones. Quentin, he's in the shop with me. He comes in after work and in the shop all the time.
Great.
At night. And then Jim, he's incredible. Dan Hoffman, Alan Schmell comes in every once in a while. And then Zach, Zach from Linquist Ford. He comes and supports us at the races. Matt Payway, he says he's my PR guy. But, yep, they're just big supporters. Everybody around us just, they love it. We all do this as basically a family. We're a big family, just trying to do what we love. So
that's good.
And you guys do it right. And so to finish the story about the Dubuque race, so I'm there with my, let me see, he's 12 now, and that was 3 years ago, so he was 9. First time he had ever been to a race. Took him to a World of Outlaw late model show.
Okay. And
you guys were getting ready. Spencer had just set fast time. We're walking by, said hi to his mom and dad, and of course I've known them for a long time now. And then, I don't remember exactly who it was, but one of your crew guys went in and got a Spencer Diercks Hot Wheel and brought out and gave it to my son in the pits.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, lifelong fan. Lifelong fan. So, and Griffin, my younger son, still has that Spencer Diercks Hot Wheel up on his shelf. So
that's cool.
That's a testament to the nice people. And your mom, Lisa, brought us T-shirts one time when we ran into you guys up at Knoxville. So
there you go.
Really, really nice people.
Yeah.
Remember 3 years ago in the run of slot cars, I won the championship and what I had for a body.
That's right. Yeah.
Number 29.
That's right.
Man, I had a vision. I knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
But, you're just a lot of fun to watch. So, so far, Spence, what do you think your best moment in racing has been?
I would say my best one, I don't know. I don't know if I have a best one yet. I would say every time I'm able to go out there, I would say, I wouldn't say it would be on the racetrack. I would say be in the pits. Being around all them people. Is being able to do something that I love, absolutely love, and being surrounded by great people. That would be the best moment, I would say.
All right.
Outstanding.
And then what about your worst moment? Do you have one of those yet?
Definitely when I got Donald Mealed at West Liberty. So I got foot in the wall and broke my arm. So that one still.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Now, do you have a favorite track yet, Spence?
I don't. Back then I would say West Liberty just because I was running there all the time and I would kick butt there. You know what I mean? But now, obviously they're closed. So if I had to choose one now, it'd probably be Davenport.
I'd be over there, Davenport.
I got the monkey off my back finally. So I used to be terrible there. But,
really? Nice. Well, you're not now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a section that I love when we come to whenever we bring a guest in. One of my favorite parts of our show, and that is. Tell us about how you got the number 29. Tell us the story behind the 29. I love hearing stories about how teams get their numbers.
So the number 29 came from my grandpa. My grandpa Martin. He had the number 29. He raced at number 29. I think so. My dad would he'll correct me later if that's wrong. But so that's how we got 29 was because of my grandpa, and then obviously my dad took that on, and then my brother or whatever. So my brother, he made it into what the 29 was on asphalt, and then my dad put it on me, and there we are.
Very cool.
We took it on from there.
Okay. And what's the best thing you like about racing?
The best thing I would like about racing is just the adrenaline.
Yeah.
100%. It's a rush that you'll never experience somewhere else. So getting up there on a lip or running right around the tires.
Ripping the lip up there, man.
Yep.
And Spence,
Nice.
you are a high side guy. And I've watched certain people over the years, and some people are catfish. They like getting down around the bottom feeders, or hugging the tires. And Spence, you're one of those guys, high side, man.
Yeah.
Dance with the devil, get up there, and high, wide, and handsome.
Well, and don't they say that the high side sells T-shirts and the bottom pays the bills?
Yeah,
Isn't that how that
that's
old saying
right.
goes?
Probably.
And Jack Hewitt used to have a saying about that too, and I can't remember what it was, but he loved the high side, so he was making fun of the people that weren't running up on the cushion all the time.
I have this theory. That you can tell, even if you've never been to a track before, you can tell how old the driver is by where he's running. And the higher they run, the younger they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The funny thing is, when you break bones and stuff.
Spencer's nodding. He
Absolutely.
agrees.
Yeah.
He agrees.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have any other hobbies other than racing?
RC cars. I do
All
that
right.
during the winter.
I know I see you at the hobby shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Used to work out there at the hobby shop. When I got done running your body 3 years ago, he asked, if he could have that body, and so he ran Spence's body 2 years ago.
Yep.
And so we've been passing that thing around. Everybody wants to run that 29. Do you have any favorite food? You got a place around here. I mean, you talked about one of your sponsors. They got great ribs, man. Them things fall off the bone.
Absolutely. That's my dad goes there all the time with Jim and Dan and Quentin stops up there. But yeah, they have good food, good ribs and burgers and stuff like that. But anything I'll eat. My girlfriend will say if there's food in front of me, I'll eat it. So.
Come on. You can do that when you're young. Now,
I
Kelly,
know, right?
When we get older,
Don't work
your metabolism slows to a crawl.
You drive by a drive-thru and you gain weight. You just look at it too long and you're like,
You sniff that donut and gain 5 pounds.
no joke.
And the thing about it is, here I am all these years later. I'll be 62 next year, and I still get nervous on race day. Now, it's not nerves of fear, because I never had any fear, but my stomach would turn a little bit, and so I never ate till after the races. And today, here we are broadcasting and announcing, and on race day, I can't eat. So when I leave, Friday nights, as an example, Davenport, I'm heading down Locust Street here, and you got a Wendy's, and you got
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. You end up stopping, and you shouldn't do that. And so, if you do that, you're going to look like me. So don't do that.
I eat during the race, so.
Can you really?
Do you really, Spence?
Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah, that's like you're like the opposite. I'm like, I have to.
Gotta eat.
It's just busy.
Feed that adrenaline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I get
I like that.
Absolutely.
So, hey, dirt track hot dog. You cruise up there, you get a hot dog, and you can only have 3 toppings. What are you going to put on that thing?
Probably ketchup, onions, and I don't know what's at the table.
I know. Yeah, they got that pickly stuff there that's probably dried, and they put water on it. It gets wet.
I'd probably
all
use
that
that.
stuff.
It all tastes good, though.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, if you go up to Wrigley Field to a Cubs game, you can't put ketchup on your hot dog.
No.
That's right. That's a Chicago thing. They'll bring you out.
It is.
Exactly.
You
right.
can, but they're going to give you shit.
Yeah.
About it.
That's right. You're
it.
never going to live it
They're going to
down.
give you shit about it.
Ah, man.
That's one funny thing. I'm the same as you. When it comes to race day, I'll eat before, but once I'm at the races, I'm in race mode, and I'll eat afterwards. But I never think about eating. So that was one area that it's always nice to have somebody around. My mom did it for a long time, where she would always make sure that I had something to eat.
Yeah.
Well, here, you better eat something, and I would always be like, oh yeah, I guess I better eat.
Yeah.
And I find myself still doing that now today.
That's like my mom. She's got if we have like a buffet in the trailer for everybody. I
know
have
where to
to
go.
That's
I have
awesome.
to. It's always constantly. I'll go out and qualify, come back in and get like a sausage stick or something, and then
Nice.
go out in the heat race and then
Nice.
get a plate of cheesy potatoes or something like that.
Awesome.
Yep, and then I can see your mom taking care of you.
Absolutely.
Yep. Lisa's good stock.
Got any questions on there yet, Pat? I've seen different questions that people
I
have
have,
been
I
asking.
have a question quick.
Yeah.
You got to have I can just envision, I've never raced a car before, but who's the guy that when you pull in or that you see that there's got to be somebody out there that you want to race, that you're like, okay, like this, you know what I mean? Something there's got to be, you got any guys like that?
Yeah, there
Of
is.
course.
So I would say like weekly stuff, I would say, I'll give him a shout out. Now I know what to do. Probably Timmy Current and Ryan Doom. Yeah. Most definitely, just because.
Nice.
It's the same competitiveness,
yeah,
though,
absolutely.
Right? That's absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
sure.
no, guys like that, you know what I mean? Guys that you can kind of honestly go back and forth with over like Facebook and stuff like that, just to give you a little bit of fired up and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I would go after them. I would say I want to win. You know what I mean? I don't care.
They do too, though. So that's what makes it great, right?
Absolutely.
That you guys are both going to bring your best
Absolutely.
game.
And that's like we went to Independence for a modified show.
And I love
1,000
Independence.
Yeah.
How do you like that, Spence?
I love it. I've only been there twice, but it was a good show, or actually 3 times. But that was I haven't been back in a while or whatever, and it was 1,000 win for modified. So I went up there and
very nice.
Simpson was up there.
You got second to Chris Simpson that night.
So,
I remember that night.
So that would be.
But Simpson started up front.
He did. He started on the pole, so it kind of. I started 9th, so I got to him, but I didn't have anything when I got to him.
Laps are winding down, man.
Yep.
And you talk about that. You use up your tires getting through the field, and man, when you get to the leader, sometimes you don't have anything left because he's been out there, taking care of his tire management.
Absolutely.
You've been bobbing and weaving and getting through the field. And,
that's right, hustling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cole Palmer says, Spencer, the Palmer RC Racing misses you. So
yeah,
I'm sure come wintertime you'll be back at it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, favorite music? You listen to anything on the way to the racetrack? You like country or rock?
Yeah,
or?
anything. I'll listen. Quentin O'Mattle definitely say that I listen to anything. My music selection goes from high to low real quick.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool.
All right.
So Spencer, tell us and the fans watching and listening, where can we get Spencer Diercks gear? Where can we get the Spencer gear?
You can message Jesse or me on Facebook, preferably Jesse because I forget very easily with work. But
and Spence, on your website,
have a very nice website.
29.com.
Yeah.
Can you get the racewear on there too?
I don't have it set up yet.
Okay.
I got to contact Ben on that. But otherwise, we have it at the track or at the shop. So if you just message her or me on Facebook right now, we'll ship it for the same price and stuff like that. But
now, you remember what a hoodie costs or a T-shirt costs, just roughly?
No.
We're not going to hold you to it.
I don't remember.
But I tell you what, you always have first class gear. I know you have hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts, and the like. And speaking of social media, I'd be remiss, and we're 3/4 of the way through the show, and I haven't mentioned it. Make sure that you like and share down at the bottom. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Spencer, help me out. What some of the other social media? Yeah, Instagram. Make sure you like and share our video and Spencer. It helps us, and it helps the show, and it helps the racing in the area.
Absolutely. And we'd like to set a new record this week. And if you share it with all the right sites,
that's right.
The numbers just go through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll help us out. So, Spence, tell us something nobody knows about you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you like to hunt?
No.
You got a dog named Boo, or?
No, I had a dog named Diesel. He passed away here a little bit ago. He's my buddy, but no, I'm an animal lover. I don't know. I'm pretty simple. I love to race, whether it's an RC car in the winter or
our kind of guy.
Exactly, or being at the racetrack during the summer. It's kind of my thing. I used to love sports, but I don't know. The older I got, the more I don't know.
Hey, race is a sport, so you got it going on with that.
Yep. And I've been racking my brain. I'm pretty sure that I coached Spencer in baseball one year, like Coach Pitch. I think he was on my son Duncan's team, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Back in the day. In the day. So what is a race? So if you had a magic wand and you got to choose one race to run up front, if not win at, what would it be?
Right now, I would say probably Davenport, just because I have, I've got the modified wins and stuff like that. And I've got, a fall bash, but I would say Davenport just because I'm from here. That's kind of like the ultimate home turf.
Nice.
Got all your fans there.
Exactly. That's like the ultimate
That's cool.
David Goliath, moment, because I'm not a big guy. You know what I mean? I go and I can run on the weekends and stuff like that. I ran up there at Mississippi Thunder, but I mean, it took everything I could possibly do to take off from work to go and do that. You know what I mean? And so it takes a lot out of my team and stuff like that, because we are, you know what I mean, everybody on my team and supports me. They all, I mean, we all work. I mean, we don't travel up and down the road 24/7.
And Spence, now, you know, since the whole family's in business, what business, I mean, do you have your own company now?
Yep.
And it is what?
So it's called Diercks Associates. So I pour residential flatwork or commercial flatwork. So I do all of your anything from your basement floors, garage floors, stoops, patios, colored concrete, stamped concrete, commercial stuff. So I'll do some streets and stuff like that. Street patches, not paving, but yep, stuff like that. So we'll do that all across the Quad Cities. Clinton.
Very cool.
So now your work season, does it run from like April to October, or what?
So from when the frost goes out of the ground to when the frost goes in the ground. That's basically how we say it.
You just described racing season, Spencer.
Basically.
Yeah,
exactly.
You gotta get it so you can do that in the winter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd work out a lot better.
Yeah, he should do that down in Florida or somewhere. Get out of there before it gets hot. Go back when it cools down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh boy. So, do you have anybody you admire in life and look up to?
I said this the last time I was on the show, but there's probably two people. One, the guy that used to drive the 58, Ray Gus Jr.
Ray Gus Jr.
Ray Gus
Okay.
Jr.
He was a king.
He was just because when I was coming up, he was the man still. You know what I mean?
He was the man.
He was always the man until he left. You know what I mean? And just because whenever I would walk up to him, he always had time for a kid like me, and I was a kid. You know what I mean? Still young, but I was, 14, 15, 16, 17, looking up to this kid, talking to, a guy that's won everything and
everything.
You know
NASCAR,
what I mean?
IMCA,
and always drove me with respect, no matter, you know what I mean? I was a young punk,
that's
so
right.
Some kids or some people, they would rough you up to kind of, this is the way my respect is to you. You know what I mean? He would leave your room, he would race you how he wanted to be raised.
Bring it home alive.
Nice.
Exactly. And the other guy who's very controversial, but is Bloomquist, just because of the stature. You know what I mean? Just no matter where you go, he's always in the conversation of being there. You know what I mean? He's not there now, but he's.
You know what? It's just like when I talk about Gary Webb and Scott Bloomquist, you gotta respect. I mean, they've done it all.
Absolutely.
So they got nothing to prove to nobody. If either one of them guys never won another feature, I mean, they're still at the top of the list.
They've won everything.
They've won everything.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you a story about Ray Gus Jr. We went to school together, grew up together as kids, and first day of high school, Ray had a '68 Chevelle, a red one with a 355 in it, and I was a Ford man, so I had a Ford with a big block in it, and I just happened to have a bottle of bleach in the back of my car, so we got a little bleach pit going on. We're out there doing smoky burnouts. Little did I know, I'm looking around the parking lot, and I thought, well, man, I see a lot of cars, but I don't see any students yet. Well, they were having a teachers' conference before the first day of school. So Ramey and I get in class, and the principal comes on the sound system, and he says, would the following two students please report to my office? Ray Gus Jr. and Shane Davis. And I thought, oh, man, we're in trouble now. Now, we got a chew-in by the principal. I got to tell you, when our dads got there, and Ray Gus Sr., Ray's already racing, I'm racing, and I remember Ray Sr. Saying to Ray, my God, don't you get enough of that on the weekends, and then you got to come out here? So we got kicked out of school the first week of school. But Ray was one of those guys to this day. He always brought the car home alive, and it didn't matter. When he drove for the Eckriches, he won. When he drove his own cars, he won. When he drove, for Kenny Roberts, I mean, he's the only guy that ever won 3 IMCA late model national championships in a row.
Right.
Wow. I mean, that's something.
And, that's funny that you say that, because I get asked, so I have groups of friends, and a lot of them are non-racing friends, and they often don't understand racing. And it's a whole nother market that we can expand into from a fan base. But when they talk about racing, and they say, come the off season and we start slot car racing or RC racing, and I get this a lot. I get don't you get enough of that during the summer? And it's like, no. I mean, it's Tuesday night, and I'd be racing something if it were marbles or. Yeah. That was one of my favorite comments growing up. Jeff Swindell said, "Racers or racers?" Yeah. He said, "We'd be racing marbles if we didn't have anything else."
Absolutely.
And yeah, so it's why I hear you when it comes to RC racing or slot car racing. And so Shane and I slot car race because it's fun and cheap, and I also get asked that. I raced go-karts for a little while, and I got asked by some of the go-kart racers, like they were surprised that I would jump into a go-kart and race because I race sprint cars, and I'm like, dude, I'll race anything. And we race wheelbarrows if you have more than one of them.
Racing, man.
That's the first thing. You go to Walmart and you see the old lady carts, and it's like that's why they only have one of them at a time because otherwise we'd be racing the damn things around Walmart.
So we had somebody ask Spence, where are you going to be at this weekend?
Yep. I'll be at the Lucas races Friday and Saturday at Farley and Burlington.
Okay.
If they don't rain out or whatever. But,
all right, man, that'd be a great.
I'll be there.
And then Sunday, you're going to take it easy.
Yeah, Sunday I'll unload and wash everything up probably, and we'll see. I don't know. Yesterday I found myself at a go-kart track.
Bring it up to Dubuque.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I ran there twice last year, and I was terrible.
Then you better bring her back
I
up
know.
there, man.
You're dialed in. Yeah.
So what was terrible about Dubuque? Was it you or
I don't know. I love Dubuque. Like I physically as a driver, mentally, my kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Track.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But my car right now, I wouldn't say my car right now. I didn't race there enough. You know what I mean? The first time I came from like 12th because I had to start last because of the points deal, but they're not last, but 12th was the highest I could start. Sure. So I started 12th and I got up to like 3rd, but I mean that's not bad. But the next time I came, I finished like 6th or 7th, so I was not very good for a weekly program. But I just would say I need something for a track like that, like a Maquoketa or a Dubuque, the two tracks that I struggle with, like that sandy, gritty, dirty, what I mean, stuff.
Yep.
Something that I struggle with as a driver and a car I've always struggled with. You know what I mean? A big, fast, open super, you know what I mean? Like a Farley or a West Liberty or a Oskaloosa or Davenport, something like that. I excel. I mean, somewhere where you can be smooth, top notch. But the Dubuque, where you gotta just go in there and just, not care about your right rear quarter.
Where you gotta throw the car more, you mean?
Throw the car. Definitely more throw your car, step on the gas, and have instinct traction. You know what I mean? I'm not.
See that.
I don't know if it's like left side weight, something's. Something like that. It's just something driver car setup wise that I don't have figured out yet. So
interesting.
Well, I look at different drivers out there, and I've always said that you got to have all the pieces to the puzzle. And your modified program, you have all the pieces to the puzzle. You guys got it going on. And your late model program, you're real close. You're getting there. So you guys, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, Spence, I wanted to ask you something too. I was thinking about this week. What kind of RPMs you guys turn out there on time trials for Lucas Oil and World Outlaw?
I think if I remember right, I was like 85.
Okay.
84
All
which
right.
is, we try to shoot for 82, 83, 84, right around there, just because you're kind of gear bound the more you get that. So right around in that area. You don't really want to go higher than 85. You'll blow it up.
And then you're modified. What do they got you shipped at on those mods?
64. 64. I don't know.
Okay.
Check. Obviously, we've never changed it. So.
Very nice.
64.
What do you have for an upcoming schedule? So we're I can't believe we're in the middle of May already.
Yeah.
It seems like, especially compared to 2020, which everything was very spontaneous and off the cuff. What's the rest of your season look like? Where are you going to try to focus on, or what are you going to make sure you
So like last year, everything was kind of messed up because of COVID. There wasn't a whole lot of late model racing last year. There was, but there wasn't. But this year, there's a lot more late model stuff going around. So I'm going to run the 2 Lucas races this weekend if it doesn't rain. And then the following weekend is that some of that the Malvern Bank stuff comes in. So
It starts rolling in, yeah.
At Columbus Junction, Darlington, and Vinton is the 3 shows or whatever. I don't know if I'll go to all 3. I might just pick and choose what I want. We'll just kind of see after Columbus Junction if I do go. But otherwise, after that, I haven't looked that far ahead either. But that was kind of in my head this week or whatever. So
Now, the Malvern Bank Super Late Model Series, what do you have to run on your engine to make it Malvern Bank legal?
So if I was going to run an open motor, which we did last year,
Yeah.
we have to run a 1.950 cup or a
Restrictor plate.
plate, and
Yeah.
then 3 1.0s or whatever in the
Now, you can
motor,
drill
so-
that full of holes,
Yeah,
can't
you could, but
Or, the bolts hold your carburetor up bad.
That's right.
Just drill them right down through the studs and
Yeah.
get all the air you want. It won't idle too good, but
I don't know what happened. I put that restrictor plate in, but it shook loose. So
yeah, the center of those studs fell out. Well, it looks like we're ready to wrap things up. In closing, do you have anything you'd like to say, Spence?
just thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It helps me out, and it's good for the Quad Cities and good for racing around here. So,
Right, you're a good guest.
but-
We loved having you.
Yeah.
And I think you're great for racing in the area. Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining the show. Also, please like, share on all of the social media. Like I said, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Please like and share. It helps us all.
Okay, Kelly, big boss man.
Yeah, just thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
I'll get you that
What
tire.
do. I want that tire for sure. Got to sign it too, though. I'm going to make a home for it right here.
You're not going to put it on one of your service
I
fans.
don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Okay.
You're just going to have to wait and see. It might
gonna be in a
end up-
glass
it might
case
travel
right
with
over
us.
here.
You never know. I mean, it might be the road tire. Who knows, right?
All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. Like Pat said, share that thing so we can get all the get the numbers up as good as we can. We want to set a new record this week.
Yep.
We've been on a tear.
Yep.
The numbers
Each
go
week
up
our
every
numbers
week.
have been increasing.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people don't realize that we're also on YouTube. We also have this show on YouTube, and it's a little bit easier to find and share on YouTube. And so even if you see us on Facebook, check us out on YouTube as well, donerighttv.com.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. God bless all you great race fans, and I'll be seeing you around the track.